Well, we welcome you to the Dog Pound as DCTV Sports is on the air. It is the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show. Brent Balbinot alongside the coach Chris Dales. They are finishing up the junior varsity game with a bumped-up tip-off time for the varsity as the Defiance Bulldogs will try to stay unbeaten in the WBL as they welcome a deceptive and very talented Van Wert Cougar squad to the Dog Pound. Coach, Happy New Year. It's been a while. We've talked, we've traded a few texts, but good to have you back on the air in the new year.
It's great to be back, and a Happy New Year to you, and hopefully great things ahead of us.
Now, Coach Bryn Layman, who we will hear as part of our pregame coming up in just a couple of minutes, gave his team, especially after that huge win going into the Christmas break over St. Francis of Toledo, and I'll still stand by this until somebody proves otherwise. That's the best team that Defiance will face all season long. You've got 5 starters in various sports that are going to play college ball, and we're not talking small college ball. They won with defense. That's what they've been hanging their hat on. They did suffer their first loss last week against Lima Central Catholic. It's the first time this season they've allowed any team over 60 points. We'll wait and see, but I know that was a focus at practice. You know where your bread is buttered as a coach, right? It's now a matter of can we get better at that.
Definitely, and from me watching them, what really stands out to me is their defensive play. They are always in the right position. They're always boxing out. They're not giving teams second and third chances. Their fundamentals on defense are second to none, and I really think that's why you see them having so much success in a lot of different avenues, and the most important one, obviously, is the wins and losses.
Very talented Van Wert team that comes into the Dog Pound tonight. I know there's 2 ways to look at it. The obvious one is to always say, well, you are what your record says you are at 4-7. But you take a look at who they played and how they have lost. 5 of those 7 losses have been by 2 baskets or less. 3 of those losses have been by 1 basket, 2 points or less. This is a team that if you sleep on them, you're going to walk out of the gym with an L.
Yeah, and here's what's scary about it. 2 freshmen, 2 sophomores, and a junior that are their starters. So what does that mean? They're only going to get better and better. They're going to get more and more confidence as the year goes on. You take your lumps now. You figure out what you're good at, what you're not so good at. Obviously you work on things you're not good at, build upon things that you are, and they're only going to get better. And like you said, they're close. Now it might be time to turn that corner.
This is what the WBL is going to be week in, week out. It is a meat grinder. We invite you to stay tuned for it because if it's half as good on the court as it looks on paper, then this one's going to be down to the wire. Earlier this week, I had a chance to stop on out at a Defiance practice, talk with Coach Layman. Our player profile is the 5'11 junior shooting guard, and man, has he picked up the slack with the graduation of the likes of a Rodenberger, a Castillo, obviously, and a Tone Lopez, who was the point guard last year. They being Defiance, 2 point guards on the floor at the same time quite often with Hutch and Jordan Wright. We're going to take a quick timeout. It will be Coach Layman to start us off. We want to thank our sponsor, again, Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, located on North Clinton Street in Defiance. A fantastic selection of not just new, but used vehicles as well. They understand everybody's on a budget, and in today's economy, every dollar has to stretch. I know the phrase is cream puffs. Broken in, not broken down. Something for your budget. If you want to stop out, check out their lot. If you can't make it or dodge between the snowflakes that are falling in the, 4 or 5 inches that are expected to fall over Defiance County this weekend, you can always log on to drivebobestill.com. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, Coach Layman will start us off. You're watching the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show on DCTV Sports.
Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding. 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com. For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org.
Welcome back. The Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show continues. DCTV Sports is on the air. Hard to believe it's been before Christmas since our last Defiance boys basketball game, but they have kept a high level of play since we last put them on the air. Our big thank you going out to our pregame sponsor, Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, located on North Clinton Street in Defiance. Check out their great selection of vehicles, both in person or if you don't want to dodge the snowflakes, check them out online at drivebobestil.com. Coach Layman joining us right now. Number one, Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Did you do anything to celebrate, or did you go
Absolutely
to bed early?
Not. No, I have little kids, so I do nothing fun.
Nothing fun. So this man right here bought 2 tickets to do nothing, watch TV, and go to bed early.
Absolutely,
Is that it?
100%.
And that was general admission, so those are pretty cheap. Ticketmaster still has your money. Let's talk a little bit about where this team is compared to when we last talked. Every day to practice is another day to get better. So just in the last couple of weeks, where's this team made its best improvement?
I think we've gotten healthy. I think, that's not really something that we coach, but that's something that every, Christmas break, you're going to run into a little bit of sickness. The first half of the season, you're going to see some injuries. So we've gotten healthy first and foremost. And, I think that's something that we've got to build on here in the home stretch.
Did suffer your first and only loss of the season since we talked last. So here's my question for you regarding that, because you can always learn something, whether it's out of a victory or defeat. What did this team learn on the heels of that one?
I think we learned that we can't overlook anybody. LCC is a very talented team. They're young, very, very athletic. A lot of what we're going to see with Van Wert. But, we didn't defend very well, on ball especially. I think we were tired and we let, that overwhelm us and beat us a little bit. So I think, we've got to reassess and say, hey, we've got to be a lot tougher and we've got to defend the basketball a lot more.
You mentioned defense. Again, that's the only team this year to even bust 60 on you. This team's still going to win with defense. They like hanging their hat on, and it's not an attitude that most players want to wrap around. It doesn't make the highlight reels at 6-11, but this team seems to like playing defense. How did you instill that in them?
I don't think that's anything we've done. I think that's just a product of who they are and how they've been raised. And they're coachable kids. They're great kids. They're hard-nosed kids. It's just a matter of defense is really, really difficult, and it's something that you can't do occasionally. It's got to be an all or nothing, all the time thing. And we slipped a little bit on Saturday with LCC, but I do look for us to respond.
Let's go ahead and take a look at tonight's opponent, Van Wert. Don't let the record fool you. There's 2 ways to look at it. You are what your record says you are. There are a couple games below it, but then you take a look at the athletes on this roster. There's another phrase, you're better than your record says. And I'm looking at what they've done over the course of the season leading up to now. If I did my math correctly, they've got 4 games where they were on the short end by 2 points or less. I know you're not, but this isn't a team that you should allow the record to deceive anybody.
No, and we wouldn't do that in the WBL anyway. Every WBL team we've played so far doesn't have a great record, but they've played us tough. And in this league, you can expect somebody's best shot every Friday. So, they're really, really talented. They're young. They're learning how to play, and those close games are where young teams are kind of cutting their teeth, figuring out how to play in those games. And, where we've come out on the better end of those games right now, Van Wert, it just unfortunately has been on the opposite end. So we respect them. They're tremendously well coached. Coach Best is an unbelievable coach. We're going to get their best shot. We've got a bullseye, and we know they're going to play, how we expect.
I was going to ask you that later, but since you brought it up, I'll ask it now. Last year, you were the hunters. This year, at least right now, you're the hunted. Does that change your mindset at all?
No, I think our guys have a level head, and they understand that, success can come and go very quickly in this game. And just like we saw Saturday, you can have some tough luck. It's how you respond. And Van Wert's gonna learn, and they're not rookies anymore. They're veterans of varsity basketball. They've played 11 games, so it's a team that's getting used to this varsity level, and we expect their best.
Let's start on the defensive end for you. Break them down a little bit of a scout here. They want to get downhill. They're aggressive off the drive. What do you expect from them?
Got to keep them out of the paint. And the Kelly kid and the Welch kid are really, really good with the basketball in their hands. So they're 2 guys that we've got to be alert on, and again, our off-ball defenders have got to be in gaps. And the crummy kid inside can do a lot of things for a freshman. He's at 14 points a game as a freshman. So they've got a lot of challenges for us to think about.
They like to be active away from the ball as well. Lots of screening. You fight through it. You switch. How does it depend, and when do you make that decision?
We're not going to make that decision now. It's going to be, more of an in-game adjustment. But right now it's, get through and play. Be tough, and you're not assuming switch. You're guarding your man until you're told otherwise by somebody else. So we're not necessarily a switching team. I think that can, add some versatility. We have that option if we need to. But we're going to fight through. We're going to play, and we're going to buckle down early on. Defensively, what do you expect? I think they're going to play us man-to-man, but they're going to mix in some zone. I think, our three-point percentage has skyrocketed the last few games. We've had a lot of guys really pick it up, from that aspect. So I'd expect them to use their athleticism and try to pressure us into things, but we've got to be ready for anything. We're getting into the meat and potatoes of the schedule now. It is the conference. This is an open-ended question. I'm putting this right in his wheelhouse, so if you don't park it, I don't know what else I can do. How much better can this team still get? I think we have not peaked by any means. I think we can continue to grow. We haven't had a game where Josiah, Khalil, Jordan, Dre have all been at their best offensively, and I don't think we've defended, extremely well without fouling yet either. So I think our best game is still in us. All right, Coach, we're looking forward to a good one here tonight. Best of luck to you. Appreciate it. Thanks. Coach Layman joining us on the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show. We're going to take a quick timeout. Our player profile is the junior Jordan Wright. Don't you go anywhere. We're back with more right after this. You're watching DCTV Sports.
Discover top-quality healthcare education at Northwest State. Our instructors have real-world experience, so they know how to prepare you for great career opportunities. Northwest State, where you'll get the top-quality healthcare education you need to succeed.
Visit Mark Moats Ford and check out some of the best new Ford models. Mark Moats Ford has been serving the Defiance community since 1916. Visit them today, County Road 424 in Defiance, and online at markmoatsford.com.
Welcome back. The Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show continues. DCTV Sports is on the air, and so is our pregame as we have a big WBL matchup tonight as Defiance welcomes Van Wert. Time for our player profile. Jordan Wright standing to my left. You have seen his prolifics. That's right, thesaurus.com. On many an occasion, both on the football field and the basketball court. He is our player profile, listed at 5'11" on the roster. He's standing up straight. I'm going to do the same thing. I think the roster's probably accurate. Is the roster accurate?
Yeah, roster's accurate. Could have put 6 foot.
Hold that up a little closer to you.
Could have put 6 foot.
We aim to be generous on DCTV.
Amen.
All right, before we preview tonight's opponent, let's rewind. You okay with that?
Yep.
Back to last year. Team was on really the edge of doing some great things. You seemed to put it together at the end of the season. You picked up a postseason victory. How much better is this team this year compared to a season ago?
I just think that, last year it was a lot of people's first go at varsity, so we didn't really have the chemistry as in this year. We're a year older, a year in varsity, so I feel like this team has a lot more chemistry. We had a lot more off-season work, so I feel like that connected us. A lot of just, non-basketball related stuff, if it's eating breakfast, just getting around with the guys. So I feel like this team's just got a lot more chemistry.
Now, how important is that? I mean, we sit here and talk about what you do during practice, maybe the bus ride, certainly during the games, but the stuff that's not basketball related can make a huge difference. Yep. How much has it made for this group? Huge.
I mean, teams that just hang around in the basketball, hang around in school, those are the teams that are going like 500. I mean, it's huge. You gotta have chemistry on and off the court.
How about you individually? What were some of the things that you were working on in the off season to make yourself a better basketball player?
Just just playing at my own pace, not letting people speed me up, working on my shooting, because I feel like I could have shot the ball a lot better last year, as I'm shooting it a lot better this year. It's just confidence staying out of my head. So a lot of mental stuff more than just physical stuff.
He's talking about the neck up versus anything skill set related. Was there anything basketball wise that you were working on?
100%. Ball handling, shot, everything. You always want to aim for everything. I always want to do everything in the off season.
Antonio Lopez was primarily the point guard last year, although you shared a lot of court time with him. Gonna love him forever. Matter of fact, as you were telling me, he cuts the hair for the team, right?
All of us. I got a haircut tonight at 7.
At 7. Give him our best,
yes,
will you?
I will.
But with that said, he's gone. He's watching from the stands now. You have the ball in your hands most of the time, although, again, the point guard chores are shared a little bit. What did the coaching staff tell you they wanted your role to be coming into this season?
I got to look to score a lot more than I did last season. Last season, I was very passive. So when I'd get the ball, I'd, turn it over, more like that. So I think they just want me to be more of a scorer first this year, which I think I played pretty well, but other than some games where I've been in my head a little bit, but other than that.
So with that said, if you don't have the ball in your hand, how much easier does it make to have Hutch running the show and allow you to play off the ball a bit more?
Great. He's a great ball handler, barely any turnovers this year, so just gives me a time off, can score off the ball, just stuff like that, set good screens.
Let's talk a little bit about beyond basketball. The term is student athlete. You got to crack a book to stay eligible.
Yep.
Now, they were busting your chops a little bit prior to our recording this interview. Do you care to share the GPA with us?
3.1.
All right.
A and B honor roll. They're just saying that because last year I didn't really. I took the year off. It was my bad. I still had good grades, but this year, all A's and B's.
What's your favorite subject?
I don't have a favorite.
No, they're all your favorite?
No, I hate all of them, but
all right, then I won't ask you who the favorite teacher is. So let's talk a little bit about where this club's at now, especially coming out of the Christmas break. You have that huge win against St. Francis, but how much better can this team still get?
All right, guys. A lot more better. I mean, St. Francis was a huge win because I feel like a lot of people around the area were just thinking that we played bad teams. So beating St. Francis was huge for everybody, for a whole program.
Let's talk a little about tonight's opponent, Van Wert. A lot of great athletes. They play multiple sports. They're very physical. They're very quick. As a matter of fact, if my math was correct, I think they got 4 games that they lost by 2 points or less. So this is a quality team, maybe despite being a couple games below 500 coming in here. What's the scout on them?
They're young, but I play summer ball with all of them. They're really good. Don't matter their age. Like you see in LCC, they're starting 3 freshmen. Just a lot of young guys that are good this year. So we gotta prepare well. Can't take them lightly.
Let's talk a little bit about, again, I know you're just a junior, but you said you wouldn't mind playing at the next level. 100%. College ball still in your plans, you think?
100%.
You care where you go?
Nope.
Right now it's just about becoming the best you then, correct?
Yep.
All right. Well, we're not going to graduate him too soon. He's still got another season before he's styling in the cap and gown, strutting across the stage with the Pullman. And most important thing, take care of Van Wert tonight.
Yes, sir.
All right, best of luck to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Jordan Wright, our player profile. Don't you go anywhere. We're back with the starting lineups right after this. You're watching the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show on DCTV Sports.
Simplify your everyday banking with convenient account options and digital banking features that fit your unique lifestyle. Premier Bank, everyday banking solutions designed for you. Explore solutions today at yourpremierbank.com. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com.
Back at the Dog Pound, Defiance High School, the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show continues. Brent Balbinot alongside the coach Chris Dales as we are about 6.5 minutes away from tipping this one off Western Buckeye League style as 8-1 Defiance, 3-0 in conference play, hosting the Van Wert Cougars 4-7 and 1-2. Let's go ahead and take a look at our keys to the game, brought to you by Northwest State Community College. Your key to great career opportunities begins with a great education at Northwest State. Visit northweststate.edu or call 419-267-1320 today. First, for the visiting Cougars, again 4-7 overall, 1-2 in conference play. They've got a couple of very aggressive guards, Keaton Welch and Xavier Kelly. They'll both basically share the point guard duties, but rest assured, they're incredibly aggressive. So number one, if they show, be ready to go. Coach Layman and company worked on that. You want to close out, but you don't want to close out too tight. Coach, if you get right on them, they will pump fake and they will drive. And the last thing that Defiance wants is to give up easy layups tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure that in practice this week that they did the 4-on-4 shell drill and they worked on a drill called closing out on that, where I'm sure he showed them exactly how he wants them to close out on them. So you go out too hard, hands up too high, your history. Yep. He's gone. So I'm sure they worked on that, and it would be interesting to see their game plan on those two tonight.
They did arm's length.
There you go.
Active hands, active feet.
There you go.
Second, some assembly required. It's post-Christmas, but you get the idea. How many times have you bought a gift and you've had to put at least part of it together? Well, that is Coach Jeremy Best's philosophy right now. This is a team that comes in at 4-7, but trust me, they are way better than that record. Coach, we talked about it. They're averaging 50.5 points per game. They're giving up 51. They have 5 losses by 2 baskets or less. They have 3 by 1 basket. What they need to do is finish. They're close, but they just haven't been able to do that in roughly half their ball games.
And here's what's scary about this. I think we mentioned this. 2 freshmen, 2 sophomores, and a junior. They're only going to get better as the season goes on, and hopefully they can turn that corner so now instead of those 1, 2, 3-point defeats, maybe it's a 1, 2, 3-point win. So they're right there. He's got to feel good. You never like losing, but I'm sure he likes where they're at, and they got to be doing things right to be in that position. They're not like they're getting blown out.
Nope.
So it'll be interesting to see how they attack the Bulldogs tonight.
Let's go ahead and take a look at keys for the host Bulldogs. Head coach Bryn Layman and company. Keep the paint dry. That basically is the counter to if they show, be ready to go. Close out, but keep an arm's length. You don't come out, you don't get flat-footed, you don't drop your hands. You've got to be active because in 1 second, you're going to be looking at their backside, and when they get into the paint, they're almost unstoppable.
Yeah, you got to win the paint, and people don't understand that. You know, it doesn't always mean rebounds. It means maybe not letting people get in there, or if the guards do get in there and you do stop penetration, making sure that you have the right rotation.
Yes.
Maybe the bottom side, forward coming over and taking the other side offensive player. Those are things that I'm sure that they worked on. And if you win the paint, you got a great shot of winning the game.
Number 2, clean the glass. You can't run if you don't have the basketball. They want to make every possession for Van Wert one and done.
That is probably the most impressive thing that I've seen about the Bulldogs this year. They limit teams to basically one shot. I have seen that all year long. If they continue to do that, not only are they going to win this game, they got a shot at winning the WBL, and they got a long ways they might be able to go in tournament time.
Those are your keys to the game, brought to you by Northwest State Community College. Your key to great career opportunities begins with a great education at Northwest State. Visit northweststate.edu or call 419-267-1320 today. Up next, our starting lineups, courtesy of Baker Schindler Company. Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding, baker-schindler.com. For Van Wert, the Cougars, led by head coach Jeremy Best. 4-7 overall, 1-2 in conference play. Keaton Welch, again, standing in the sophomore. Keaton Welch averaging 11.2 points, 4 boards, and 3 assists per ball game. Xavier Kelly will be at the off guard. Xavier Kelly Again, standing in, number 2 on your roster at 6 foot, a freshman, Kelly, comes into tonight averaging 7.7 points and 2.5 rebounds per ball game. At the swing, it will be Griffin McCracken. McCracken, a 5'11 junior. McCracken averaging 9 points and 2 rebounds per game. He's active defensively, though. He leads the team with 10 steals. The front court, Cohen Bragg, number 24, a 6'2 sophomore, 150 pounds. Bragg entering the game with 5 points, 2 rebounds, and 1.5 assists per contest. And then in the middle, Zach Crummy. He's playing anything but his surname. 6'6", 225 pounds, and he's a freshman. Crummy averaging 14 points, nearly 9 rebounds, and how about this, 15 blocks on the season. This is going to be a front court that Defiance hasn't seen a whole lot of. They've seen a couple, but this is some size that can match up with them tonight.
Yeah, and that goes back to them just being fundamentally sound on defense, making sure that they're in the right places, they're covering for each other, they got good help defense, making sure they're boxing out. And, you know, if Defiance can hang with St. Francis, they should be able to do the same thing here with the Cougars. And one thing, when you always look at this, you know, as being a coach for all those years, you want to get in the minds of those freshmen and sophomores. Try to pick up an early foul or two, you know, make them have a charge call or whatever. Make things difficult on them, because you're still a freshman. You're still a sophomore. You're still learning things. And if they can get into their mind and play some games with them, I think it's going to be benefit the Bulldogs.
We're going to take a look at the Defiance starters in just a second, but as the buzzer sounds, the warm-up balls being put into their respective cages, and both teams coming out onto the court, it's time for our national anthem. It is courtesy of the Defiance County Veterans Office. The Defiance County Veterans Office, proud to support local veterans and their families. If you would like to connect with them to find out what resources you might be available for, or just to request more information, log on to defiance-county.com/veterans-office. That's defiance-county.com/veterans-office, or you can call 419-782-6861. Colors being unfurled over half court. This is going to be the sportsmanship committee from both teams. As we've seen over the past, 2, maybe 3 years, this was a really smart thing that the Western Buckeye League did, promoting sportsmanship and representatives, many of whom are athletes themselves, meet prior to each game.
Yeah, this is awesome when they do this. And I think they meet, you know, during the school year. They talk about different things, plan different events, and just what a great way for the student athletes to get together and meet the other kids from the other schools.
As the officials being introduced, they're off to the right there. You can't quite see them behind Van Wert's players. But we have a seasoned group here this evening. Dave Gershutz, Vince Walensky, and Greg Spees. And at least 2 of these 3 gentlemen have done multiple games here this season.
Yeah, I've seen these guys quite a few times throughout my coaching career for basketball, and got a good crew here. They should do a good job tonight.
So the Defiance Rotary Club will now perform the Star-Spangled Banner. and the Defiance Rotary Club with tonight's performance of the national anthem, brought to you by the Defiance County Veterans Office. Proud to support local veterans and their families. If you'd like to connect to find out what resources might be available to you, log on to defiance-county.com/veterans-office or call their office at 419-782-6861. Let's finish up our Baker Schindler Company starting lineups now for the host Bulldogs of Defiance. 8-1 overall, 3-0 in conference play, and it's the usual suspects. At the point, Logan Hutchison, a 5'8 senior. Again, Hutch does so many things. He's not a scorer, but he is a pretty decent distributor, almost 4 per ball game, and he is active with those hands. He's the team's leader in steals with 11. At the off guard, our player profile, 5'11", off guard Jordan Wright. Wright averaging 9 points per ball game. He's also a distributor, 4 assists per game. He's shooting 77% from the charity stripe. Your swing, Josiah Schlatter, the sophomore wonderkind at 5'11", having himself a season, averaging just under 14 points per game, 4 boards, and 2 assists. Your front court as follows, and they will get a test tonight. Khalil Ligon, the 6'4 senior. Ligon, the team's leading scorer at 15.8 points. Check that. Yes, 15.8 points per ball game. He is also averaging 4.5 rebounds per contest. And in the middle, the 6'7 senior, Garrison Smitty. Smitty averaging 3 points, but nearly 9 rebounds per contest. And I'm looking down here to see what his blocks are, but he is a rim protector. So again, those are your starting lineups for the Defiance Bulldogs. Size on size, best on best. Nothing left to do but tip this one off. And there you get a good look at our officiating crew. Again, Dave Gershitz, Vince Walensky, and Greg Spees. I know next week the Ohio High School Athletic Association is labeling it Officials Week, but we can go ahead and get it started about 48 hours early.
You know, it's always Officials Week. People don't understand, they get it from every direction. They get it from the stands, the parents, they get it from the coaches, sometimes the players. You're not supposed to, but, give these guys a lot of credit. It's a hard job. People don't understand that, and they take a lot. They take a lot of abuse down there, and I've seen a lot of crazy things. I've seen players thrown out, coaches thrown out. I've seen parents thrown out. I've seen it all. So
you've been around. Series history. Speaking of which, we won't go that far back, but last season Van Wert won by a basket, 46-44 at Van Wert. As the tip is won by the Cougars, and we are underway.
It's like Defiance is starting off with their traditional man-to-man. A lot of pressure out on the wing.
Nice crossover spin move, and what did we say? If they show, be ready to go. Defense cutting them off, keeping them out of the paint. Long board kicks out, and after a little pinball, Ligon secures the ball.
Defiance is in really good help defense. You can tell they're prepared defensively. They got people in the paint, both feet.
Right now, sagging man-to-man here. They're double teaming, trapping on the baseline, and ball knocked out of bounds.
Yeah, definitely they double teamed the post there. Defiance has to relocate to the open spot. They have to find him and hit that open shot.
Middle of the paint. Ligon muscles up and gets the first basket of the game.
Counted, offensive rebound by Defiance. Defiance continuing in their man-to-man defense. A lot of help defense. You see their defenders, the defenders on the off the ball have 2 feet in the paint. They're looking for help.
And we talk about keep the paint dry tonight.
Yep.
So far so good through 2 trips down the court. Good ball reversal and wide open corner 3, and that is all net for Griffin McCracken.
It's a good shot by that young man.
That is a Premier Bank 3-pointer.
Van Wert, they're in a man-to-man defense also. Looks like we had a traveling call.
So a turnover. First of the ball game for either team. 3-2. Early going right now.
It's like a Defiance, a little bit of a full court man-to-man pressure just to get them out of their rhythm.
Stop and pop jumper about 17 feet out on the wing. No good by Welch. One and done. Wright wants to run. He's taking on everybody and anybody and maybe force that shot up just a bit.
Yeah, definitely so. That was a great block out by Grayson Smitty there. No one around him going up and protecting the board.
Long three, right wing, and ball tapped around. And that's just where it pays off to have a big, I know he's a freshman, but a big center as Crummy at 6'6", 225 just out-muscled everybody for the putback.
And you can see the 225 on that young man. As a freshman, he's built pretty good. He's got some muscle on him.
Hutch releases it. Boy, Wright thought about a three, but a nice job by McCracken to get out and close out. On the drive, that ball might have been partially blocked.
I think it was. It was a good look. He got deep into the paint.
Welch drives, kicks, another three, nailing it. Cohen Bragg with a Premier Bank three-pointer. And after scoring the first basket of the ball game, Defiance now all of a sudden has seen the Cougars go on an 8-0 run.
They might have to make an adjustment on the outside there. They're leaving the outside shooters just a little bit too open right now.
We've got a whistle, and this is going against the Cougars' Xavier Kelly, his first team foul, number 1.
I think defensively, Defiance is going to have to tighten up on the perimeter a little bit.
As substitution for the Bulldogs, Dre Singleton checks into the ball game, a 6'3" senior. Or did he? Yeah, he did. I'm looking at him. So this is about as big a roster as Defiance can put on the floor. You've got 6'7", 6'4", and 6'4".
Get some
quick hands. Cy Schlatter with a quick outlet. Singleton, is he going to jam it? He wanted to, but at the last second, I think he thought the better of it.
Yeah, he got too far underneath the basket. Good decision by that young man.
Yep.
Let's take the 2 points. Let's not force anything.
So 8-4 ends a bit of a drought for the Bulldogs. And picking up his dribble, they're going to go into their big center, Crummy in the high blocks. This is 6'6", 225 against 6'7", 225. Wow. And look at that. The freshman gets the better of the senior on that play.
Drives hard to the right, spins back to the other side, and lays it up.
I don't know what else you can do if you're Garrison Smitty there.
Wow. If you're going to tell me that kid's a freshman, no way. No way. Great move.
That's called displacement in basketball terms. As Schlatter drives, stops and pops, and drains one from the elbow.
Defiance is using the ball screen really well. They're getting good open shots. They just got to make them. They got to continue to use that ball screen.
Just outside the arc, big man pops out. Smitty will give him an arm's length.
Defiance has got to fight through the screens of Van Wert.
Up strong, and that's great help side defense by Ligon to strip him. Singleton going coast to coast, leans in, count it, and one coming!
That all started with a double team on the big man down there for Van Wert. They double teamed Cohen Bragg. They got the steal, got the layup, and looking for an extra point here.
This foul's going to go against Xavier Kelly. That's his second, and immediately Jeremy Best is going to have to sub out. 2 quickies.
Great help defense again by Defiance to create a 3-point opportunity here.
Singleton
got it
to the line. He's a good free throw shooter at 84%. Completes the 3-point play. And the Bulldogs have pulled to within 1. Beyond the arc, bounce pass. Van Wert has been settling for some long threes. This is going to be a long jumper, and that was over a contested Jordan Wright. Nifty shot by Keaton Welch.
Wow.
Timeout on the floor. We will take one with them. Mark Motes Ford timeout, serving the Defiance community since 1916. Located on County Road 424 in Defiance and online at markmotesford.com. Van Wert 12, Defiance 9. We're back after this on DCTV Sports. Back at the dog pound, Van Wert 12, Defiance 9. Just under 3 minutes left to go, first quarter. Trying to break the press, and that's just great transition defense by the Cougars.
Yeah, Van Wert went to a 2-2-1 full court press and was able to get the steal underneath the basket.
Speaking of steals, quick hands by Cy Schlatter. Defiance wants to try and run. Singleton leans in. Boy, that was a tough shot. Highly contested. Almost a steal by Singleton. He is pesky.
Yeah, he is. Just maybe a jump shot, maybe kick it to the open guard. I think he kind of forced that one.
Back into man-to-man. Nice job by Wright to cut off Welch. Crummy at the free throw line going up against Smitty. Cuts him off. And on-ball defense right now by Defiance is sticky. And just as I say that, Ligon's going to pick up a foul.
Of course, his back was to me, but I didn't see any contact right there at all. I think Defiance coaches saw the same thing that I saw. So maybe a little tight right now.
Right now, I'm not sure if this is a hill that Coach Layman wants to die on, but he's remaining remarkably composed.
It's early. It's early. He's saving it.
Brez Zippel will check in. Ligon will check out. Ligon a little upset as well.
Yeah, I think he knew. Hey, I didn't touch him. But get a quick breather. Get your mind right.
Yep, exactly.
Get ready to go for
a lot of ball.
Number 2, yep.
So Zippel right now. Nice job keeping those feet active as he cuts off Micah Cowan, who's checked into the ball game. Also checking in, Caden Collins, backup guard. Welch. And look again, arm's length off by Wright, and that's just brute strength. Ball being tapped around, and Singleton wants to run. He's off to the races, 1-on-3. He's going to force up a shot and still drains it.
Nice shot, nice shot.
That was one of those no, yes.
Van Wert is doing what they call a 4-out, 1 in. Of course, the big guy's in. They're doing some off-the-ball screens, trying to get deep penetration is what they're trying to do. Then they're looking for the deep 3.
Drive and dish. Stop and pop just inside the arc, and Smitty outmuscles his own teammate Zippel for the rebound.
That's a good thing.
Defiance looking to retake the lead. Skip pass. Schlatter open for 3. Got it! A premier bank 3.
Really like the extra pass.
Cy Schlatter with 5 points, but you cannot give him an ounce of daylight. He is a pure shooter.
Yeah, excellent form. Wide open. Had everything correct. His feet were correct. Good follow through. Drained it.
Top of the key, Cowan surrenders the basketball. He went to set a screen, and I'm not sure what happened, but confusion as Collins went the other way. Into the high blocks, extended. Crummy. Boy, Smitty's right on him. And I think after getting beat and displaced by about 15 feet, Smitty is a little more physical with the freshman right now.
Definitely. He's figuring it out. Yep.
15 seconds left to go in the quarter. Van Wert can tie it with a 2 or take the lead with a 3. Drive and dish, and McCracken. That's going to be a turnover.
Van Wert is attacking the basket. And if they don't have it, they are kicking it. You can definitely see their game plan, and Coach Layman was exactly right in what they have to do to stop that.
7.7 seconds left. Wright with a 360 spin move across half court. Schlatter, this is the man they want with the ball on the drive, and he's stripped from behind. They won't get a shot off. So a low-scoring but very competitive first quarter of play. We'll see the home team take a 2-point advantage going into the second quarter. We'll take a quick Mark Moats Ford timeout, serving the Defiance community since 1916, located on County Road 424. Check them out online at markmoatsford.com. We're back after this on DCTV Sports.
Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding, 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com. For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org.
Back at the Dog Pound, second quarter underway. Defiance one and done as Will Horvath has checked into the ball game for the Bulldogs. Khalil Ligon with that foul late in the first quarter is also back on the court. And speaking of fouls, Xavier Kelly with 2 also back on the court for Van Wert. Nice job to post up down low by Crummy. Backing Ligon down, goes up with the baby hook shot. Did everything but finish. This kid is a ball player.
He's good. He's good. He has a lot of tools in his toolbox, that's for sure. Good rebound by Defiance. Nice box out.
Ziffel, Horvath, good ball reversal. Ligon open for 3. Trickles off the front of the iron, out of bounds off the Cougars.
I think Defiance needs to be a little bit more patient, try to get a little bit better shot. When they slow it down a little bit and they work the ball around, they definitely get an open one.
Inbounds, Slatter thought about it, drives, stops and pops, middle of the paint, just off the base of the iron, and a good board by Hutchison. And they'll reset the offense, and just as I say that, Ziffel for 3! Wow! Breslin Ziffel with another Premier Bank three-pointer.
Great ball movement by Defiance. 3 good passes to the open guard, drained it. That's what I like to see right there. Great ball movement.
Crossover, McCracken, 360 spin, forces one up. Nice job and boxing out by Will Horvath.
Defiance allowing Van Wert 1 shot. Tremendous defense. They have to keep that up and convert on the offensive end.
Well, what was one of our 2 keys to the game for Defiance? Clean the glass.
Clean the glass. They're doing it. Squeaky clean right now.
Mr. Windex right now has been actually more than 1, but Hutch sticking his nose down at 5'9".
They're all doing it.
Bounce pass Ziffel. Great ball reversal. Cy Schlatter for 3. Long off the heel of the iron.
Good looking open shot.
Yep.
Great ball movement again. Defiance is moving the ball well now.
Back, and Ziffel went for the steal. Now comes down to help double. Kicking it out to the near corner. That was an open 3 for Nate Gearhart, and halfway down it kicks out.
Once again, great box out by Defiance.
Hutchison in the land of the trees. Kicks it back out. Ligon. Boy, they're getting open looks around the perimeter, but right now they're not falling.
Yeah. Defiance, they just got to stay patient, just keep shooting. They're going to go. They're going to fall. They're getting good look open shots. Looks like they're going long. Maybe they're rushing it just a little bit. Just get everything set, follow through, and let's drain them.
You can't argue with the looks.
No, they're great looks.
Yep.
They're great looks.
That's where you just need to get into that left to right step in, let muscle memory take over, and then how often does you hear an athlete say it just took that one, and then everything else fell into place?
Got to keep shooting. Got to keep shooting. You got it.
17-12. That foul going to be charged against Dre Singleton, his first. Welch surrenders the basketball. McCracken, boy, he is lightning in a hot skillet. Fadeaway 18-footer, and Ligon cleans up underneath.
Another 1 shot for Van Wert. Defensive rebounds is keeping him in the game.
Oh, Singleton off a great ball rotation. Nothing doing. Smitty, and there's where he is going to get his points. Garbage putbacks.
Yep. Great positioning, great offensive rebound, and then he attacked the basket after that. Great job by Grayson Smitty right there.
Coach Best wants a timeout as he had an early lead in this ball game, now trailing by his largest deficit, 7 points with just under 5 minutes left to go in the first half. We'll take a Mark Moats Ford timeout. We're back right after this on DCTV Sports.
Discover affordable transfer opportunities at Northwest State.
Start here and save thousands on tuition.
Our advising team will help you get your credits transferred.
So don't wait another minute. Get started today.
Visit Mark Moats Ford and check out some of the best new Ford models. Mark Moats Ford has been serving the Defiance community since 1916. Visit them today, County Road 424 in Defiance, and online at markmoatsford.com.
Buzzer sounds, 4:55 left to go first half. Battle in the WBL as Defiance leading Van Wert 19-12. Breaking a half-court trap and right underneath the basket, a little bit of a love tap, and that must have been enough to get Welch just off a kilter. And he wishes he had that one back.
And going back to the timeout by Van Wert, Coach Best did not get out the board. It was all about attitude.
Yep.
We got to hit the boards, guys. Defiance is killing us on the boards.
What a wraparound pass. Ligon went to Smitty, and Smitty got rejected by the freshman Crummy. And for the battle for the ball, who are they calling this one on? It's going against Defiance, and it will go against Smitty.
I did not see that.
Smitty, a 6'7 senior. Crummy, a 6'6 freshman. And right now, you got best on best as they get Crummy in the high blocks. He'll surrender the basketball.
Little elevator screen by Van Wert. Double screen on for them.
They got a good look. McCracken with the three, but just couldn't get the friendly roll.
That was a good set play by Van Wert. Defiance was turning up the defense, too. They went to, looked like a trapping defense. Follow the ball, trap.
Right. Bounce pass to Ligon in the high block. Slatter open for three. That was a little flat.
Yeah.
First time tonight we've seen not quite the form that we're used to from the young sophomore.
Definitely so. That was like a line drive there. Great battle by Schmitty there. The big boy had position on him. He was able to tip it away.
Singleton on the drive, trips, falls down, and look who's tying him up. The freshman diving on the floor. Jump ball, and the arrow points the Cougars' way.
You know, you can't win every battle. And that time, the big boy, the Bragg, he had position on Smitty. But Smitty was able to jump a little bit higher and tip it to the other Defiance player. That's a smart move by Grayson Smitty there.
McCowan on the floor now for the Cougars to join Crummy. McCracken bringing the ball across the timeline is Welch. And this is Collins, number 11. Coach Best has gone to his bench. He's making pretty good use of it.
Yeah.
Likewise, so has Defiance, as we've got Wright, Schlatter, Ligon, Singleton, and Smitty. And this is, as tall, as big a lineup that Defiance can put on the court right now.
Yeah, then they're really working well together, too.
Yep.
Van Wert's really trying to get to the paint.
Well, they did, and forcing the foul. Yeah. Crummy will head to the line. And is this Singleton?
I think it's on Smitty. Yeah.
It is Smitty, his second.
And I think they're calling it tight right now. I didn't see that. Smitty had great position, and he went up straight. That's what I saw. And so many times referees think that, that there's contact. Well, he's going up straight. The offensive guy's going into him.
Crummy, just a 51% free throw shooter, 23 out of 45 coming into tonight.
Brett, I just noticed something. He's left-handed, too.
Yeah. Ball tapped up, still loose. Johnny on the spot. Ligon, though, nice job to drop down and cut off Welch. Welch for three. Off the heel of the iron, and Schlatter skies to pull down the board.
Good job by Defiance, the defensive rebound. Good transition by Van Wert, getting back and stopping the fast break of Defiance.
Right, bounce pass. Zippel. Schlatter has struggled a bit after draining his first shot. He'll drive, and, well, that's a lost start, the stop-and-pop jumper.
That was good. What I liked about that is he drove, but then he created space. He went up for a nice, clean, open shot. That was a good-looking shot right there by Defiance.
30-second timeout, so we will keep it here with 2:20 left to go in the first half. Right now, Defiance leading 21-13. This was 14-12. After the first quarter. So Defiance has held the Cougars to just 1 point so far in almost 6 minutes.
Yeah, it's definitely because of their defense. And, it's interesting that Coach Layman called a timeout right now. I don't know exactly what he's telling his players, but I think he's making some type of adjustment. We'll see if they come out with some full court pressure here to maybe take this lead and expand it a little bit more. Van Wert's having a little trouble with some pressure.
As they break, I don't see any substitutions for either team, so the same five that was on the floor. Wait a minute. I take that back. I don't see Singleton on the floor.
No.
So I see Horvath in right now, and also back in Hutchison, so they have gone smaller. Cross-court pass. There's where Hutch wishes he was 5'10 instead of 5'9.
Yeah.
He 1 inch taller, and he's going the other way on a breakaway layup.
And what was nice about that is he was in the passing lane to cause that, higher, longer pass, and he's in the right position. Great job by that young man.
I'll tell you what, they say he didn't get a hand on it, so that actually is going to be Defiance's ball. Yeah. And we'll see what they run offensively here. Boy, the defense getting tight and tighter for Van Wert right now. Hutch on the drive, dishes, Slatter for 3. Got it! He's starting to warm up.
And Jordan thought about it. He penetrated, and then he kicked it out to the open guard for 3 points. What an unselfish player right there. He's the general. Yep. He's doing it all right now.
Another Premier Bank three-pointer for Defiance as, wow, physical play by the young freshman Crummy as Ziffel took a shot across the jaw. It's out of bounds on the battle for the rebound. Do we have a foul, or is it just a trade of possessions?
No, it's a foul.
Yep.
Foul.
And this is going to go against Micah McCowan, his first. Just team foul number 1 for the Cougars here in the second quarter.
I really thought that might have been an offensive foul because Defiance players, he got jacked in the jaw there.
Brez Ziffel, the quarterback for Defiance for the past couple of seasons, and he's wishing he had a face
helmet
mask.
on. Yeah. Ooh, nice
great backdoor cut, and Slatter just a little hurried there. Yeah. I think he also thought there was going to be contact that didn't come.
Yeah, I think you might have saw a big number 23 coming at him.
Crummy's posting up, and they've got it to him. Middle of the paint, immediately back out. Good man defense, great help defense right now by Defiance.
Absolutely.
Less than a minute left to go in the half, right?
Offense.
That's going to be an offensive foul. Yes, it is. A charge, and that is going to be his third.
Tremendous defensive play, moving your feet, cutting off penetration, saw the push off. Wow, you got to love. That's all hustle, heart, and desire right there on Defiance.
Kelly frustrated as he will have to watch the final 51 seconds of the half. He's picked up his third. Now we'll see if Defiance wants to pick up the pace here, if they want to take the air out of the ball. And do we have an offensive foul? Looks like an illegal screen.
I think it was on Brez.
Yep, Brez knows it.
Yeah, just got to stay stationary. That's hard to do. It's hard to do. You practice that. You coach, keep your feet still. Don't lean, but you still want to make contact.
So Van Wert with a chance for the final shot of the half. If they want it, they look like they're going to run their offense. They want their first best look. McCracken, east-west. Now they finally feed their big post Crummy into the paint and gets the friendly roll. And Defiance fans, I think, wanted to travel.
I think he's going to have to be a little bit more selfish. I think he needs to take a few more shots.
Wow, what a move by Ligon. Finishing from behind the backboard.
Good move, good drive.
His second basket of the night. Lead is 11. And contact, is it Ziffel? Is it Wright? Is it a third Bulldog? And it's going to go against Ziffel.
Coach Layman's going to have to talk to his players about making an adjustment out there in the court. They're calling it tight right now. And they're in position. Defiance is in great position, and you're just going to have to be careful, a little bit smarter.
Welch to the line for 2. He's a 65.5% free throw shooter. His first is up, and it is good. With 3 2/10 seconds left, he's trying to trim the deficit back to single digits.
Defiance has to lean on their help defense a little bit more there. They got the people to do it.
Second is long. 2 seconds. 1 second. Ligon from half court.
Good. Ooh.
Little high.
It was on the mark. It looked good from here.
So a very strong second quarter for Coach Bryn Layman and the Bulldogs as both teams will head to their respective locker rooms. Defiance with a 10-point lead over visiting Van Wert, 26-16. We'll take a 2-minute timeout. 2-minute break. We are back with your Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show. You're watching DCTV Sports.
Your everyday banking with convenient account options and digital banking features that fit your unique lifestyle. Premier Bank, everyday banking solutions designed for you. Explore solutions today at yourpremierbank.com. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com.
We welcome you back to the Dog Pound as we are at the half. It's time for the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union celebrating 70 years of helping you achieve your dreams and securing your future. Visit them in Defiance, Bryan, or Napoleon. You can also check them out online at midwestcommunity.org. Brent Balbanon alongside the coach Chris Dales. We are at the intermission. Low scoring. What did we say? Defensive-oriented ball game. That is what Defiance has hung their hat on so far through 9 games this season, and this one no different as they lead a good Van Wert squad by 10, 26-16. We're going to break down the unofficial scoring totals, but, Coach, first things first, your take on the first 16 minutes.
I think the key was defensively Defiance limiting Van Wert to just one shot. I think they only had maybe twice all the first half where they got 2 shots off in a possession. And that's absolutely critical for Defiance. And they are doing a great job of boxing out, being in the right position. So I think that's the key right now, limiting to 1 shot per possession.
One of the keys for Defiance was keep the paint dry. With maybe a couple of exceptions, those aggressive Van Wert guards have not been able to go downhill and get to the rim.
No, and what I like about it is, if they do get a little bit deep, Defiance is there to stop the ball, and then they're rotating to get on to the big guys. There's no place for them to go but to kick it back out, and that's exactly where you want the basketball to go.
On the flip side, it's been a little bit of everybody, but Cy Schlatter, the young sophomore, by his standards, a cold first half shooting, and yet he's got 2 3-pointers, a couple of baskets, beautiful stop and pop drives from about middle of the lane, probably about 7-8 feet out. He leads all scorers with 10. 2 other starters in the scoring column, Khalil Ligon with 4, Garrison Smitty with an offensive putback, and then bench production. Dre Singleton off the bench. He's turned defense into offense. A couple of breakaway layups. He has 7 points.
Yeah, and what I like about Defiance is, for the most part, they're getting good shots. Coach Layman and the coaching staffs got to be pleased with their shots. You just got to keep shooting, follow through with your form, and it's going to come. They're going to drop some here in the second half, but they're getting good shots. It's not like they're forcing stuff. That's what you got to like about it.
On the flip side for Van Wert, 4 of 5 starters in the scoring column, but that's it. Nobody off the bench. Leading the way, Zach Crummy, the big 6'6", 235-pound freshman center. He's got 7. Then 3 points apiece for the remainder of point guard Keaton Welch, Cohen Bragg, and Griffin McCracken. Who hasn't scored is the other point guard / shooting guard, Xavier Kelly. 3 fouls. I'm not sure that he's gotten more than 1 shot attempt off. These aggressive Van Wert guards have just simply been stymied so far in the first half.
Yeah, and, if I'm Coach Best, this is what I'm telling my guys at halftime. The ball's going to go through Crummy. Absolutely. I don't care. Every possession, he's got to touch it. Now, either if he drives, he penetrates, but then the guard's got to relocate to get the good open shot. That's when they are at their best, and I don't see them doing that. They're trying to get penetration. Defiance is doing an incredible job stopping him. They're stopping the pass. So I got to get the ball to my big guy and see what happens. I mean, if that's him, that's what I'm telling him.
Right now, it's all led to a 10-point Defiance lead, 26-16. We're going to take another quick timeout. We are back with more of the Midwest Federal Community Credit Union halftime show. You're watching DCTV Sports.
Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding, 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com. For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org.
Back with more of the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union celebrating 70 years of helping you achieve your dreams, securing your future. Visit them in Defiance, Bryan, or Napoleon, or online at midwestcommunity.org. 26-16. Defiance was out probably for about the last 60 seconds. They're going to get a good 3 minutes of shoot around and warm up in. And as I say that, Van Wert has just come back into the gym. My guess is if we were a fly in the Van Wert locker room, Coach Best probably was preaching a little bit of fire. They're still in it.
Oh, yeah.
But, Coach, you figure even a three-possession run by Defiance all of a sudden changes the complexion of this game. I'll be curious to see how the Cougars come out to start the second half.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure that Coach Best was talking some X's and O's, but I bet the most of it was just, what I would call a little bit of attitude. Mm-hmm. Fellas, we're there. We just got to start doing things a little bit better, being a little bit more aggressive. We got to attack the boards. We got to do the fundamental things here. We can hang with these guys. You guys did it the first quarter. Let's come out second half and let's do it again.
Yeah, it was 14-12 at the end of the first 8 minutes, but Defiance's defense just suffocating as they held Van Wert to just one basket from the floor and 2 free throws in the second 8 minutes of play.
Yep. And that's what, I said, a little bit earlier. I think everything's got to go through Crummy, their big guy, because when they were at their best is when he was touching the ball, either getting in deep, getting a good look, or kicking it out. So we'll see what they do second half here.
Final seconds ticking off the halftime clock. Van Wert did not get much of a shoot-around in at all. But we'll wait and see. Defiance, as we talked about it, and it's not just their defense, their help side defense, but I think awesome. it really started with their on-ball defense. The Van Wert guards are just being smothered, Coach.
Yeah, and they had to make a little bit of adjustment because Van Wert came out and hit some three-pointers and hit some long shots. And Defiance stayed true, with their game plan, and it is definitely holding true right now. So, kudos to them. They're going to have to do it again here in the second half.
The final 8 seconds of our halftime ticking off the clock as we get set for quarter number 3. Let's also credit the officiating really with allowing the teams to play tonight. They've called the fouls that were necessary, as evidenced of the fact that Van Wert got into the bonus at the end of the second quarter. But at the same time, they've allowed the guys to play. There has been rhythm. There has been tempo to this ball game.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. A couple times I think they might have got a little bit ticky-tacky, but I do like them play, especially with the big guys. The big guys are banging down there, and they're letting them play. That's what I like to see.
It's one of the things that Coach Stan Heath up at Eastern Michigan and I talked about in the early part of the season. So often you'll hear tempo and you'll hear rhythm, and people will confuse the two. As Ligon goes downstairs and misses the reverse layup, Smitty, finally they're going to whistle a jump ball, and the arrow goes to Van Wert. You can have tempo but not rhythm.
Right.
You can have a track meet, but bad shots, maybe turnovers. Don't allow your offense to get into rhythm. When you can get tempo and rhythm at the same time, that's when you know you're firing on all cylinders.
You got it going. You're exactly right. And if you wanted one of them, you definitely want that rhythm, because that's, everybody's on the same page. Everyone's looking at the same thing. You know what you're all doing. That's important. Two key concepts.
Well, again, it sounds contradictory a little bit, but he said sometimes you need a slower tempo to get into rhythm.
That's correct. There you go. Hey, Van Wert came out and got the ball to Crumley. Nice backdoor cut. So, I don't know. Maybe he heard me. I don't know.
Well, this one's going to be McCracken heading to the charity stripe, as the foul will be charged to Schlatter, his first. McCracken with a three-pointer early in the ball game, and then he's been incredibly quiet as he will go to the charity stripe. Good free throw shooter at 75%, although a very small sample size at 3 out of 4, but he connects on 100% here. That is what Van Wert needed to start the half.
Yep.
So it's a single-digit deficit right now, as Defiance going to try and pad that lead back up again, right? Schlatter, almost like the Red Sea parted for him, and he might have short-armed that shot just a little.
Great penetration. Great offensive rebound by Smitty.
Hutch into the paint, dishes. Smitty comes out to face the basket, leans in, just didn't get the roll.
Nothing wrong with that. He went right at Crumley, right at him.
Oh, and this is a rare fast break opportunity for the Cougars, and they get it at the other end as Cohen Bragg with just his second basket of the night. First time I think we've seen Defiance's transition defense break down.
Definitely. Yep.
Ligon goes right at the freshman, and Crumley picks up his first foul of the game.
Kudos to Van Wert getting the outlet passing going, and Defiance was there. They were just like 2 steps behind on the transition, and Van Wert was able to convert into 2 points.
Ligon, if there is somewhat of a weak spot in his game, it is the charity stripe. It has been anything but charitable for him at just 58% on the season, but he looks good on this one.
Yeah, there's only one way to get better, and that's just keep shooting them.
How about this tonight, too? We actually have the student body probably in as good of a representation as we've seen so far this season.
With a lot of snow out there. Yep.
Second one bounces in and out. Guess who for Van Wert?
The big boy.
Crummey's got it. So the lead remains 7. Nice pick and roll, and they get it to him in the high blocks.
There it is.
Smitty trying to keep his feet active, leans in. Count it, and one coming.
Brett, I know he heard me. I know. 2 trips down. They get it to the big boy. They overplay him. Backdoor cut last time. Now he takes it to the hole. That's exactly what they need to do. Their offense needs to go through him. Defiance is going to have to figure out how to, 1, stop him, and 2, don't let him get that backdoor cut. Make him push it to the perimeter.
Well, with Smitty's third foul, that's going to make it even more difficult because they're going to have to do it without their big man. Singleton checks in. The lefty releases. There's no way this kid is a freshman. There's just no way.
I tell you, he does not play like a freshman. By no means.
27-23. Ligon in the near corner. He's going to test the freshman, and a little bumping and grinding, and he forces the turnover. Traveling the call.
That could have went either way. I thought he got pushed a little bit. I think he thought the same thing. He's shaking his head too.
Now, this is where if you're Khalil, you shake your head and clear your head.
Exactly. We got to get focused. We got to get a stop here.
Coming out to play tight. Look at this. This is your power forward coming out beyond the arc on Bragg. They're going to put Ziffel on Crummy. Nice drive, nice dish. 3 ball off the mark, and Singleton pulls it down. Now, this is where Dre sometimes is rushed, and they get it right back to him, and he's lightning in a hot skillet. And here he comes, and that is going to be a blocking foul.
Good call.
Wow.
Great call. He was definitely moving. Good attack by him. Great call. Great penetration.
Bragg with his first, team foul number 2. Singleton to the charity stripe.
Defiance has to sink these now. This is important. This is an important part of their game.
Well, Dre's a good free throw shooter at 84%.
And you can tell. That's good. This is the person you want at the line. And he knows he's good. I think that's one reason why he penetrates so hard.
Boy, smooth looking stroke there. Give him 9 on the night and make it a 6-point Defiance lead. Timeout on the floor, trying to see if this is a 30 or a full.
Looks like a 30.
It is a 30, so we will keep it here with 5:41 left to go in the third quarter. Look, you knew Van Wert was too good and clearly too proud to just roll over and play dead. This shouldn't surprise anybody.
No. They got some good athletes. Like I said, we said before, they're young, but they've come out with a lot of fire, a lot of desire here. They're playing very, very well here in this third quarter, and they're right back in the game with a 6 point. That's 2 possession game, nowadays, and they got the people to cut it to to an even game here in 2 possessions.
So here's whereas if you're Defiance, how do you respond? Because Van Wert did what we thought they would, and that was come out and throw a couple of haymakers. Now if you're the Bulldogs, you need to respond.
Yeah, they need to respond defensively. They got to figure out this Cromley situation here. Maybe deny him the ball. Maybe double team him. But definitely everything is going through him. He wants the ball again, and he's got it.
Skip pass beyond the arc, popping out.
Nice.
Double screen for a 3. Around the world it kicks out. Crummy had it, and he tapped it right to Wright. And a rare fast break opportunity, and that nobody helped him out. Zippel, Ligon, that's just, and he missed the bunny. Singleton loses it, and Defiance shaking their heads wondering how they didn't score that trip down.
Sometimes you're just too wide open. I think that's what it was. He was just too wide open.
Crummy on the drive, runs over Ligon, and that's going to be an offensive foul.
Very good. Great positioning. Stuck the chest out. He was in front. Great defensive positioning right there.
Tempo has slowed down here in the third quarter. We're not even to the 4-minute mark here yet. Wright will bring it across the timeline. Schlatter pops, and Jay just didn't see it. That's going to be out of bounds, but that's good hustle by Welch.
Good set play there by Defiance. So trying to get everybody high above the foul line and then get somebody cutting underneath is what they were trying to do there.
Zippel into the backcourt, right? This kid's got a chance to play at the next level. I'm not sure if it's going to be D3, maybe D2, but he's got game. Nice backdoor cut by Schlatter. Singleton far corner for 3. That didn't have a lot of rotation on it.
No.
I don't think that left his hand the way he wanted it.
I think they were looking for the layup right there, and he got too far underneath the basket, so he kicked it.
Welch on the drive, cut off by Wright, and he stepped out of bounds. There's the defense you were talking about, Coach.
There we go. Yep. Great positioning right there. Let's see if they have a full court press here. No.
They're going to back out.
Yeah.
Well, right now, half court's been pretty good for them.
Yeah, it has been.
7-3. That is our scoring in favor of Van Wert so far in the second half. As Singleton on the drive took a shot. You saw his head snap back, yet he still maintained his momentum and finishes with a teardrop. And he's in double figures now.
Drive. Yeah, great job there.
He's got 11. Crummy trying to back down Zippel. He'll release it.
They went to the double team.
Oh, look at this. Singleton. Do we have a little showtime? He take the dunk. He went up early and missed it. Oh, man. At the other end, Ligon's going to be called for a blocking foul. How quickly the momentum has swung.
Yeah, boy, that's a tough situation. You're pumped. You want to do it. You want to get the crowd involved. But on the other hand,
he left early. He just didn't have his footing down.
Yeah.
He didn't have his footing down.
Yeah.
Man.
I've known high school coaches saying, if you're going to do it, you better put it down, because if you don't, you're going to be sitting by me.
Inbounds and an offensive foul.
There we go.
Is this Collins? Must have set an illegal screen. Collins with his first, but that's team foul number 4. So one more, and Defiance will be shooting free throws. I know we've talked with Scoop about this. I'll ask you as a former basketball coach, and you can think on it. Do you like the new rule?
I don't know if I'm going against the grain here, but I'm going to say no.
Okay.
I'm going to say no.
Ligon short. Singleton with the board. Foul is charged to 23. Did I guess that right?
One, I think that you put kids at the foul line too soon, okay, for a non-shooting foul. Let them play basketball. Let them play basketball.
Singleton with a rare miss, in and out. And you can see the frustration in his body language. This is where you have to clear your head, try and make 1 or 2. And timeout, as Coach Best calls a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it here, trying to ice him. I'm going to piggyback on that thought, though, because prior to 5 and everybody shooting no matter what, there was strategy involved in it.
There was.
You knew who the opposing team's weaker free throw shooters were, so you went after them.
Exactly.
That's gone now with the new rule. And I know from, I think, what Coach Beauty told me and a couple of other people at the OHSAA, it speeds the game up. Games are moving faster now, but at
why?
what price?
But why? It's not like high school basketball games take forever. You know, I don't understand that concept. There's no shot clock. You know, we're fine. I just think that was a rule that I don't understand the merit of it and what benefit that it does. And in my opinion, it's slowing it down because you're going at the foul line sooner, and the clock is stopped.
I'm going to go back even farther. I remember the days when a tied ball was a jump ball.
Yeah.
No alternate possession.
Right,
so again, depending on strategy, you'd put certain defenders on certain ball handlers with the thought, we get a jump ball here and we're going to win it.
Right. Well, you know, I'm going to go back to this common phrase. If it's not broke, why fix it?
Okay.
What was broke about the old system? You tell me.
I don't know. I do not know. That's why I was asking you.
Was broke. No. That's why I don't like it. And, you know, I understand sometimes you need change. I get that. And I've seen a lot of change in both football and basketball, but this is one I don't quite understand.
Singleton hits one of two. It's a 9-point advantage as we approach the 3-minute mark here in the third quarter. All right. I thought he was going to jump that passing lane. Yeah. Instead, nice drive down low. Nice job to follow his shot, but Welch kicks it out. Boy, he missed the bunny. Reverse layup, and talk about a much higher degree of difficulty. Cohen Bragg with a tough reverse layup.
That was unexpected there. 7-point game here.
It's been single digits for the most part of the third quarter here.
Yep. If I get an email from OHSA tomorrow because of my my opinion on the foul system, I'm going to blame you, okay?
Well, all I'm going to say is this. I left it open-ended. I would say this. If you get contacted by the OHSA, maybe Tim Street in particular, that means that they respect your opinion enough.
That's true.
That they're reaching out to continue the conversation,
That's
right?
True. Yeah.
So in which case, you can buy me dinner then.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I will definitely do that.
32-25. Oh, goodness. And a microwave burrito at the local convenience store does not count as dinner.
I will not do that to you.
Oh, quick hands. Nice job. Will Horvath immediately coming in. Singleton knows one gear. He hits the deck. And I think the second player coming through, which was Crummy, was the one who actually picked up the foul there.
He had one thing on his mind, get to the rim.
Yep.
He attacked it hard.
That will be Crummy's second. And Singleton back to the stripe where he is very much at home. He is 4 out of 5. And just as I say that, first one goes trickling off the side.
You can tell he's a little upset at that.
Well, again, you're getting later into the game. Your legs maybe aren't quite as fresh. And this is where you're in no rush. You have 10 seconds, and he hits his second.
I don't think I've ever seen that 10-second call ever. I really don't. I haven't seen it in years. Not to say that it doesn't happen, but
you have to really lose mental focus to burn 10 seconds at the free throw line.
Something.
33-25, under 2 left to go. Back out, top of the key, Nate Gearhart, lone senior on this team. Nice drive, stop and pop jumper, and Keaton Welch with a pretty looking shot.
Van Wert got back to what they were doing good at the earliest quarter. Got it to the big boy. Guards penetrated. Nice dish to him.
Ziffel thinking about it. Into the high blocks, but cut off. They'll back it out in between the circles. Hutchison will start the pattern offense. Nice drop by Ligon. Tied up. Jump ball the call. Gearhart. Boy, that was a second where you thought, is that going to be a foul? Gearhart put both thumbs up. I'm not saying he lobbied the official, but he got the call. Possession stays with Defiance, and Singleton throws it to the bench.
Yeah, a little miscommunication there. He needed to let things develop a little bit longer.
There was nobody over there. He saw a teammate, but he wasn't on the court.
I think he was trying to set up a back door, and they just weren't on the same page, that's for sure.
So the lead cut to 6, possibly less with this trip down the court for Van Wert. Driving dish.
Look
Crummy
for a
in the
cutter.
high blocks. Look at him just put his body into Zipfel. He's a little hard off the glass, and here comes Singleton. Nobody picks him up. Nice dish at the last second. Oh! Crummy out of nowhere with a block from behind. Defiance maintains possession. Ligon goes up against the freshman again. Too hard. Tries again. Gets swatted into a double team. Jump ball, and the arrow points to Van Wert. It's getting physical.
Here's what I like. No one's backing down. Both teams are going right at each other. You know, we had 2 or 3 blocks on that possession. They were still going at each other. We got a physical battle going on
Very.
here.
39 seconds and counting. What if I told you in this entire quarter, Defiance only has 1 basket from the floor?
Yep.
Everything else has come from the free throw line.
Yep, I can see it.
Gearhart backing it up. Picked up his dribble, but hands it off to Welch. Still plenty of time with 22 ticks left. Horvath, nice job to stay right in his jersey. That's that active hands, active feet that we were talking about that Coach Layman wanted, and the Defiance faithful are putting their hands together. They appreciate the effort. 9 seconds. They got to get their offense going, and a blocking foul will bail them out. And if is that Schlatter or Zipfel down there?
You know, he started with a traveling call, and as he's in his traveling motion, he changed it to the block. So, I don't know.
Foul against Horvath. Lob pass. They'll go down low to Crummy. Leans in. He gets the roll. 1 second. They won't get a shot off. We got a ball game. Van Wert came out with a much grittier attitude. The third 8 minutes are basically a great example of it, and now it's anybody's ball game. 33-29 as we'll head to the fourth quarter. Time to take a Mark Moats Ford timeout. Serving the Defiance community since 1916. Located on County Road 424 in Defiance and online at markmoatsford.com. 33-29. Bulldogs with the lead. Don't you go anywhere. Final 8 when we come back on DCTV Sports.
Discover top quality healthcare education at Northwest State. Our instructors have real-world experience, so they know how to prepare you for great career opportunities. Northwest State, where you'll get the top quality healthcare education you need to succeed.
Visit Mark Moats Ford and check out some of the best new Ford models. Mark Moats Ford has been serving the Defiance community since 1916. Visit them today, County Road 424 in Defiance, and online at markmoatsford.com.
Final 8 minutes put up on the clock as we welcome you back to the Dog Pound. We got a ball game. Defiance led by 10 at the intermission. They have seen that lead trimmed to 4. 33-29, taking on a very stubborn Van Wert squad. Crummy stops and pops from the elbow. It's long. Zipfel with the rebound. He didn't want to run.
No.
They had the ball centered and men on both wings, but he didn't want to run. And right now, just trying to run some good half-court offense as Ligon goes in against the freshman and then picked up his dribble. They'll kick it back out. Now here's where if you're Defiance, you want to run clock, but you don't want to do so at the expense of your aggressiveness and taking yourself out of your offensive rhythm.
Yeah, 100%. Let's just run the offense and get a good shot.
Well, Zipfel couldn't get the board. He tried what they call a dagger to tip it out, but it went right to Van Wert. And here come the Cougars, again with a chance to trim the deficit. Down the middle of the paint, absolutely nobody picks up the ball. Bragg with the basket, and all of a sudden, it's a 2-point game. Schlatter stripped from his rear end. Out of bounds, it looked like Welch stepped on the baseline.
That was very uncharacteristic of Defiance to let someone drive all the way to the basket without any help. They just need to be patient here, get a good shot, run their offense, They'll be fine.
Well, with 3 fouls, the 6'7" center for Defiance, Smitty, is back on the floor. Oh, they missed him underneath. Oh, Singleton missed him. Back out up top, right. Oh, what a crossover move, shake and bake, and he draws the foul. And if it's Crummy, that will be his 3rd.
Well, it seems like this is what Defiance's game is. They are attacking hard. Van Wert, they're saying, okay, you're going to attack hard. We're going to foul you. We're going to put you at the foul line. Defiance is going to win this game if they can hit their foul shots.
Jordan Wright to the stripe, misses his first. Jordan Wright averages 9 points per ball game, and he's a 77% free throw shooter. He misses his first. He's still looking for his first point tonight, and he finally gets it at the 6:30 mark.
We're going to have to pick up our foul shooting if we want to win this game here.
Lead back up to 3, 34-31. Wright staying in the jersey of Welch. Student body trying to spur on a stop. Cougars can pull to within 1 or tie it with a 3. Being very, trying to think of a good adjective. I don't want to say cautious, but mechanical here. And into the paint, but right back out. Welch is cut off. They try and go down low to Crummy, and Smitty has picked up his 4th.
He's got to be smart. He's got to be smart. And here's the thing is he's got to know where Crummy is. He was going to catch that ball 10, 15 feet away from the basket. Let him do that. You don't want him to catch it on the block down there. Just let him catch that. He's got to be smart.
That last trip down the court, I think deliberate is the term I was thinking for Van Wert's offense. They were bound and determined to get a good look.
Yep. I think they have been told, like I said, we got to get the ball to the big guy. Let's see what happens here.
Hitting the deck and stepping back wide open for a 7-footer, nothing doing, and Singleton pulls down a 2-handed board. Quick outlet, Wright wants to run. Boy, 4 red jerseys get back, and Wright almost got stripped. Ligon on the drive. I'm not sure if he lost it or dished it, but Johnny on the spot. Brez Zippel is there for the lay-in.
Right spot, right time right there. I think you're exactly right. I think that might have been tipped right to him.
Ligon will tell you, hey, that's an assist.
Right, exactly.
36-31. A little bit more breathing room now for the Bulldogs as we approach the 5-minute mark in the ball game.
Looks
Welch.
like Defiance is really picking up their perimeter defense.
Good-looking stroke and
there we go.
Rebound and just taken out of the hands of Collins by Zippel. Singleton with a high dribble. He needs to be careful. He's going coast to coast and gets the roll. Timeout, Coach Best.
You know, we got to give credit to Brez Zippel right there. Van Wert had an offensive rebound, and Brez just went in and just ripped it away from him. You know, kudos to the weightlifting program.
Yeah.
You know, he took it away. Fast break, Defiance 2 points down at the other end. You know, you don't see things like that. You know, where are you going to get credit? Maybe a steal, maybe, you know, but that was a big play for Defiance.
Singleton finishes with the teardrop at the other end. Coach, he's got 15 off the bench to lead all scorers tonight.
And he's attacking the basket. I mean, any chance he gets, he is going to the rim, and you got to love that aggressiveness. And now he's got to be able to realize, hey, they're going to make an adjustment. We can't let him drive. Now he's got to be ready to kick it to the open person.
Zach Crummy leads the Cougars, the 6'6", 235-pound freshman center, as he's got 12 points. And getting close, Cohen Bragg with 9. Likewise, Cy Schlatter had 10 for Defiance at the half. He has yet to score so far in the second half.
We'll see if they're going to get the ball into Crummy now with Grayson on the bench here. You know, we'll see how they're going to attack Defiance.
I believe Ligon is going to be the man on him.
They got. Looks like they got.
They're going to put Brez on him.
Yep.
All right. So Brez is definitely giving up some height and probably a few pounds as well.
Yeah, you got a quarterback there going against a tight end or defensive end.
And they get it to Crummy. Tries to back Zippel down. It's a little too hard. Tapped out by Singleton to Ligon. And there's the senior slowing it down. Smart play. Up by 7. No need to force it.
Exactly. Good decision. Experience taking over right there.
They run Schlatter through. They miss him as a cutter. Resetting. Ligon in between the circles. Wright coming over, and they'll get the ball to their guard.
Looks like Defiance is going to run a set play here.
Yep. Schlatter through. They get it to him, but he had his back to the basket. Oh, nice pick and roll by Ligon.
Nice dunk.
Pump fake, got the freshman in midair, and it doesn't matter. Singleton with the board. Schlatter will pull the trigger, and they got a huge three. His first points of the second half.
Couldn't come at a better time right there.
A Premier Bank three, yourpremierbank.com. Back up to a 10-point Defiance lead.
Defiance staying with their man-to-man. See if they double here, the big guy. Ooh, push
Dragged
off.
to Crummy, and tell you what, this
got away with one there.
This kid just is incredibly physical.
Yeah. I tell you what's going to happen. His mailbox is going to be starting to be full, without a doubt. You know, and I'm telling you right now, if he continues to grow, I mean, you're looking at MAC and above right now.
Absolutely. And again, we're projecting 4 years from now, but goodness, get to some camps, young man. Get to some camps. Right on the drive, dishes. Singleton pump fake, explodes to the hole. Man. He's pushing 20 points.
He is taking it to the hole.
Give him 17 now on the night. We got a whistle, and who's this going against?
You know, he's not backing down at all. What I like is, too, they are taking the big guy up high. With Defiance's forward, they're getting him out to create more of an open lane. Because I tell you what, he's a big force in there. They're trying to get him away from the basket.
They'll get it to Welch, who drives, but is cut off baseline. Nice help by Ligon. Back out to Kelly, who has played minimally here in the second half with 3 fouls. He averages 8 points a game. Top of the key, Bragg releases. That ball was deflected by Ligon, and he caught him on the way up.
Good
and Bragg's headed to the line.
Yeah, they've executed that play numerous times tonight, and they run it really well. Get it to the big guy, about halfway up the lane, then they dive.
So to the stripe, Bragg, an 87% free throw shooter. Again, he was 7 of 8 coming into tonight. Drains his first.
This is what they want. Clock stop.
Yep.
Trying to make some points here.
If he hits this, do you press if you're Van Wert?
Why not? Heck yes. You got nothing to lose. That's exactly what
he does, and they come out in it.
2-2-1. 2-2-1 full court press.
Wright and Zippel playing a little catch. Wright crosses over, gets it across the timeline, was stripped from behind. Ligon picks it up, and timeout being called by Coach Layman.
Great call.
I believe this will be a 30-second variety.
Great job of
it's a full.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a full with them. Time for another Mark Moats Ford timeout, serving the Defiance community since 1916. County Road 424 in Defiance, online at markmoatsford.com. Crunch time, 2:25. When we come back, Defiance trying to hang on. You're watching DCTV Sports. We've hit crunch time, 2:25 left to go in the ball game. It's a tight one here at the Dog Pound. Defiance trying to pick up their 9th win of the season and remain perfect in the WBL at 4-0. Van Wert trying to crawl back to within 500 at 5-7 and even up their conference record at 2-2. Anybody's ball game. Bulldogs with the lead. Wright picked up his dribble, but manages to go over the top of it. Dangerous skip pass by Ligon. And it looks like Defiance is spreading the court here, Coach.
Yeah, well, Van Wert looks like they've went to some type of zone trap defense here. They're trying to trap the ball. Here it comes right there. Now they're trying to get a steal.
Neither team in foul trouble right now. So this is, in effect, the four corners of the old Dean Smith of the 80s era.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Defiance is not running any offense. They are strictly trying to milk the clock.
Good move. Good move.
And now Van Wert finally comes up and fouls, but they let almost a full minute tick off the clock.
Yeah, good move. I like it. I like it.
Bragg picks up his third. It's only team foul number 2. Again, this is where playing good defense all of a sudden penalizes you if you're Van Wert, because you're going to have to foul 2 more quick times before you even put him to the line.
Yeah, see, there we go again, talking about the same story.
Well, immaterial that trip down is a good look by Zippel to Ligon.
Being patient, letting the defense break down. The more you pass it, it's going to break down.
10-point lead and high off the square. Tremendous shot by Keaton Welch, and he thought he was fouled as Coach Best calls a timeout.
I think he had an argument there too.
We'll
take it.
Well, they're calling this a full timeout, so we will break as well. 1:18 left to go in the game. A Mark Moats Ford timeout. Back with a final 60-plus seconds on DCTV Sports.
Simplify your everyday banking with convenient account options and digital banking features that fit your unique lifestyle. Premier Bank, everyday banking solutions designed for you. Explore solutions today at yourpremierbank.com.
One minute, 18 seconds. The buzzer sounds at the dog pound. Defiance trying to hang on as they lead 45-37. Trying to go 4-0 in conference play and remain atop the pack of the WBL. Into the teeth of a full court press from Van Wert. Nifty job to dribble out of it by Wright. And now if you're Van Wert, you just simply can't allow any time to kick off the clock. You got to foul.
Yep. What I'm sure was said in the timeout is, got to go for this. We're going to foul. Got to go for the steal. Get back into the full court press.
Crummy picks up his third into the back court, but if you're Van Wert, you might as well just foul now. They get it across the timeline. Zippel one dribble. He'll kick it back out. And Defiance isn't running any offense. They're going to play turtle and wait for them to foul, and that's what Welch does.
Yeah. Reds could have had a wide open layup, but he kicked it back out. Time is a factor right now. That's what they want to do. Take it off.
Into the back court. One more will put Defiance at the free throw line, but first they've got to get it across the timeline. Singleton's got it.
Keep it in his hands.
And Crummy will foul him. That's the big man's fourth. He has to have a double-double. I only have points for him. He's got 15. But if he doesn't have at least 10 rebounds, I'd be surprised.
Yeah. Great night. Great night. Off the bench too, right?
Crummy, he's a starter.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant.
Oh, you're talking about Singleton?
Yeah.
He's getting close. He's got 17. Now make it 18. And Smitty will check in. So will Hutchison, Wright, and Zippel will take a seat on the Defiance bench. Collins will head to the bench for Van Wert.
Looks like Coach Layman's going to play offense-defense here.
Second free throw on the way. Rattles it home. That's 19 for Singleton off the bench. And a 10-point lead. Stop and pop. I don't know how he got that open. And Welch, that was a shot they needed if they were going to stay in it. And now they're forced to foul. And Defiance can salt this game away from the line.
Yeah, that's been critical the second half. And we all knew they were going to get to the line a lot. We just got to make them. And Defiance has done a nice job the second half.
Foul's going to go against Bragg. It will be his fourth. Boy, this will be a rare, if this deficit holds, double-digit loss for Van Wert. They only, by my count here, I'll have to double-check, I think had one loss of 10 points or more so far this season. Everything else, as we talked about, out of their 7 losses coming into this one, 5 were 2 baskets or less. 3 was 1 basket.
They've been there all night long.
Yep.
All night long. They've been there.
49-37. Coming up on 30 seconds. McCracken held scoreless tonight. He averages nearly 8. Long three. Around the world it kicks out for Bragg. They kick it back out to him. He'll reset and reshoot. This time it's short. Smitty with the board, and Van Wert will not foul.
There we go.
Van Wert won't foul.
Good win for the Bulldogs.
They had to earn it. Absolutely. And a tip of the cap to the Cougars tonight. Certainly a team, don't let their record fool you. No. You don't take them seriously, they're going to put a knot on your head.
And they're a good ball club. They did a lot of good things tonight. They really did.
Buzzer sounds and Defiance. Trust me, it was closer than a 12-point game for the bulk of 4 quarters, but they will pick up their 9th win of the season against just 1 loss. They remain perfect at 4-0 in the WBL with a tough-fought 49-37 victory. On the flip side, the Cougars woulda, coulda, shoulda fall to 4-8 and 1-3 respectively. What we're going to do is take a quick timeout. When we come back, it'll be our South 66 Lanes post-game show. Don't go anywhere. You're watching DCTV Sports.
Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding. 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com. For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org.
Discover affordable transfer opportunities at Northwest State.
Start here and save thousands on tuition.
Our advising team will help you get your credits transferred.
So don't wait another minute. Get started today.
Visit Mark Moats Ford and check out some of the best new Ford models. Mark Moats Ford has been serving the Defiance community since 1916. Visit them today, County Road 424 in Defiance, and online at markmoatsford.com. Simplify your everyday banking with convenient account options and digital banking features that fit your unique lifestyle. Premier Bank, everyday banking solutions designed for you. Explore solutions today at yourpremierbank.com. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com. Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding, 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com. For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org.
Discover affordable transfer opportunities at Northwest State.
Start here and save thousands on tuition.
Our advising team will help you get your credits transferred.
So don't wait another minute. Get started today.
We welcome you back to the Dog Pound as it's time for the South 66 Lanes postgame show, as Defiance had to earn it tonight, but they did enough in a 12-point win, and trust me, 12 points is not indicative as to how tight this ball game was tonight. They had to outlast a very gritty, very game Van Wert squad, but they do so 49-37. Brent Balbinot alongside the coach, Chris Dales. Coach, we're going to run through the scoring here, but first things first, your take on tonight. 16 minutes first half, 16 minutes second half. Two different ball games, but Defiance did what they needed to.
Two key factors that I think were huge. Number one is Defiance controlled the boards on the defensive end. They did not allow Van Wert to get second shots. And they got a big guy. They kept him off the boards. The second thing is, the second half, they came out, they were flat, but they were able to get to the foul line, and they were able to make their foul shots. They were able to take that lead and then stretch it out because of the foul line. So those two things, I think, were two key, huge factors in a Bulldog win tonight.
Helping salt away what was just a single-digit lead in the fourth quarter. Defiance went 5 of 6 from the charity stripe and did just enough to keep Van Wert at arm's length. Before we go any farther, let's tip our cap to the Cougars. This is a team that is better than a 4-8 record, and if you take them lightly, they're going to put a knot on your head.
Yeah, without a doubt. And, like I said, coming out of halftime, I think everything goes through their big guy. I think they got to do more of it. And sometimes as a coach, you're afraid to do that, but, man, he's a force, and he's going to be a force to reckon with for 3 more years. And they got things around him, too. They're going to be good.
Let's run down the unofficial scoring totals. First, leading all players tonight, off the bench, Dre Singleton does it again. He is lightning in a hot skillet. Maybe a little ahead of himself once in a while, but any coach will tell you, how many times have you said it, you'd rather have a player make an aggressive mistake than a passive one. He scores 19 off the bench to pace all players. What a huge weapon.
You know, I just want to say one thing, no fear. No fear in him. He was attacking that basket against those big guys of Van Wert like it was nothing, and I give him all the credit in the world. And he sparked the Bulldogs. I mean, he was big tonight. He was huge for him.
Josiah Slatter finishes with 13. He had 10 at the half. He didn't really look to shoot a lot in the second half, but again showed great discipline. Rounding out the scoring, 9 points for Khalil Ligon, and then it drops off after that. Brez Ziffel with a deuce off the bench. Deuce for Garrison Smitty, who played in foul trouble, or more specifically, watched from the bench in foul trouble for a bulk of the third quarter. And then Jordan Wright, this is a young man that averages 9 a game. He was held to just 1. But again, he ran the offense and played tremendous defense.
You know, that's why it's a team sport. You know, you're not going to hit your average every night. And sometimes people got to step up, and tonight that's exactly what they did. And tonight I saw guys doing their roles, like Garrison. You know, his job was to keep the big guy off the boards, and he did a great job. Yeah, he got into foul trouble, but he was aggressive. He was going after him. He was keeping him away from the basket. So you know what? I don't see points. I see rebounds, but I see him doing a lot of good things that helped the Bulldogs get a win tonight.
The dirty work.
Exactly. Yep.
On the flip side for Van Wert, only 4 players in scoring column and no bench points tonight. The freshman center, 6'6", 235-pound Zach Crummy. There's no way this kid is a freshman, folks. Crummy had 7 at the half. He finishes with 14. Great balance. We don't have rebound totals, but if he didn't have a double-double tonight, he was very close.
Yeah. And we were, you know, talking off the air. He's a freshman. And, you know, we're already talking maybe like MAC basketball. You know, he's a freshman. He's, 14, 15 years of age out there. The guy's got a tremendous body. And not only that, he's got skill. Moves, spin moves, drop moves. You know, he's got a good package. He's only going to get better. And, you know, I tell you, they're going to surround him with good players. They're going to figure everything out. They're going to be good.
So, let's see, one other player in double figures for the Cougars, Cohen Bragg. He had 3 at the half. He finishes with 11. 5 points for Griffin McCracken, 7 for Keaton Welch. Xavier Kelly got into foul trouble early. And, again, this is a young man that averages 8 a ball game in a 12-point game. I'm not going to sit here and say it would have made the difference, but it would have made things more interesting. But he got taken out of the game very early. As a matter of fact, both of Van Wert's guards did. The on-ball pressure, not just the help side defense. The goal was to keep them out of the paint. Basically very aggressive. Don't let them get good or easy looks to the rim. For the most part, Defiance did that tonight.
Defiance's defensive game plan, they executed it well. They had the scouting report. They knew it. They executed it, like I just said. And, you know, and here's what Van Wert's got to do, too, is, you know, they're relying a lot on those guys. They got to get some help from the bench, you know, because there's going to be teams figuring out, and people forget about that. You know, there's a thing where you see stuff on film, and now, there's a plan. Other teams are going to see it. Other teams are going to try to execute it. And, you know, Van Wert's going to try to have to figure that out a little bit.
49-37 with the win. The Bulldogs now 9-1. More importantly, 4-0 in the Western Buckeye League. The Cougars fall to 4-8 and 1-3. We're going to take another quick timeout. We are back with more of the South 66 Lanes postgame show right after this on DCTV Sports.
Visit Mark Moats Ford and check out some of the best new Ford models. Mark Moats Ford has been serving the Defiance community since 1916. Visit them today, County Road 424 in Defiance, and online at markmoatsford.com. Simplify your everyday banking with convenient account options and digital banking features that fit your unique lifestyle. Premier Bank, everyday banking solutions designed for you. Explore solutions today at yourpremierbank.com. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com. Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding, 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com. For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org.
Discover affordable transfer opportunities at Northwest State.
Start here and save thousands on tuition.
Our advising team will help you get your credits transferred.
So don't wait another minute. Get started today.
Visit Mark Moats Ford and check out some of the best new Ford models. Mark Moats Ford has been serving the Defiance community since 1916. Visit them today, County Road 424 in Defiance, and online at markmoatsford.com.
You can hear the crew cleaning up in the background here at the Dog Pound. It was a light crowd here this evening. Two reasons, obviously. Ohio State playing Texas in the NCAA semifinals. That game has just kicked off, if it's not already going. And then, of course, a light blizzard here in the Defiance County area. But those that came and stayed were treated to a fantastic ball game as Defiance holds off Van Wert by a final of 49-37. Brent Balbinot alongside Coach Dales. We anticipate being joined by Coach Layman here soon. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's on the horizon for both these teams. As a matter of fact, we're into this point in time of the season now, especially post-Christmas, post-New Year's, where you're often going to see back-to-back games within 24 hours, Friday and then Saturday. And such is the case for both these teams here tonight. As up next for Defiance, they're right back here on their home court tomorrow night in about 24 hours as they'll take on Wauseon out of the NWOAL. Wauseon kind of up and down, but again, one of those teams that you can't sleep on. They've got some quality wins on the early part of their schedule, and then again a situation here where you're going out of conference, but keep the winning streak going. On the flip side, for Van Wert, they are going to be on the road at Marion Local. So they're going to try and get back into the winning column. Going to be difficult. But, again, you play the games that are on your schedule, right? Yeah. So everybody's got to play them. It does not matter.
Marion Local's only had a basketball in their hand for, what, just a couple of weeks now? So.
Well, come on over. Absolutely. We break protocol for this guy. When this guy walks into the room, trumpets sound and traffic stops. Coach Layman joining us right now. 49-37. Another defensive-oriented ball game. Another opponent held to below 40 points. I'm starting there, but let's get your take on it. Open-ended questions, your thoughts after 32 minutes of ball.
I think 37 points, and they had two really big spurts there right away in the first quarter and then that stretch in the third quarter. So I think outside of that, we held them to right around 20. So some missed assignments early in the game, and then I thought we forced some bad looks in the third quarter that led to some transition, and we had some guys worn down, and we weren't getting back in defensive transition. So, I think great team effort defensively. Offense wasn't great by any means, but did enough to get it done.
To piggyback on that, Coach, secondhand shots, they didn't get any. You just cleaned up the defensive boards, and I tell you what, they got a freshman out there. He's one of the best I've seen in a long time. He can do a lot of things. Just talk about how important that was to just hold them to just one shot per possession, because I think we only counted like 2 or 3 times where they got a second shot.
That was one of our keys. One of our defensive keys was to box out and limit them to one shot, and that's a tall task with the Crummy kid. He's going to be good. I'm not looking forward to playing against him in the future, but he does a great job of following his shot. He does a great job of burying his guy when he posts up, and he doesn't get in foul trouble. He does a great job of managing his body, and again, he's a load, and for us to box out and limit them to one shot on a lot of occasions was big.
Yeah, that was a great job. I mean, that really just stood out. And and I told Brent at halftime, I said, if I'm Coach Bess, the ball's got to go through him offensively. It has to. He's got to touch it. People got to cut. They got a couple baskets off of it. You guys made adjustment, and that's just a great job defensively.
Yeah, he was one that we saw, in the Ottoville game. He got in foul trouble, and it completely changed the whole, it dictated everything. And the Welch kid and the Kelly kid, they're tremendous players, but like you just said, everything's got to go through Crummy. And we were fortunate we were able to hold him in check for the most part, but just a great team effort all around.
He can't score without the basketball, though. Can you just talk about your team's on-ball defense? I know you had worked feverishly in the practice that I came out earlier this week about closing out, active hands, active feet. Your on-ball defense, what do you grade it?
I thought our on-ball defense was great. And, we can say that because Kelly was in foul trouble for the most part. So that takes away a massive aspect of their offense. But I thought we did a really good job on Welch. He got a little bit too deep there when they made their run. But, our on-ball defense was tremendous. I didn't think we got the shooters great on the perimeter early on, but when we made some adjustments, when we knocked down cutters, we were really, really effective defensively. When we got when we went through our little defensive lull and they came back into the game, I thought it was just laziness defensively, but we did a great job responding.
2 players in double figures for you. Let's touch a little bit on offense. Again, Cy Schlatter had 10 at the half. He finishes with 13. I don't think he forced shots, though, this evening. But at the same time, Dre Singleton with 19 off the bench. He just seems to have one gear. I know sometimes I've seen you talk to him and put your hands out, palms to the floor. But at the same time, you've told me a million times you'd rather have an athlete make an aggressive mistake than a passive one. Can you just talk about what drives this kid? Where's that motor come from?
That's just natural, and I say natural ability, but he's played a lot of basketball, and you can tell that he just has a sense of where to be and what to do. Beyond just attacking, I thought his offensive rebounding was really the key early on. That was another one. I thought we could hurt them on the boards, and he started to exploit them. We had a lot of guys standing around the perimeter watching early in the game, and when Dre came in, he gave us that spurt. I thought Brez Zipfel did some great things inside, got some loose balls. But Dre just he can take things to another level, and he's got an athleticism that not a lot of people can guard. So when we can get him out in transition, I don't really give him many rules. When you can go, go.
Makes you look like a genius, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Just go do what you do. 24 hours from now, you're going to be right back here telling the guys to go do what they do again. You're at that part of the season where it's going to often be back-to-back nights, Fridays into Saturdays. How do you handle such a short turnaround against Wauseon?
I think we've got a group that's maturing, and they're starting to figure out that it's going to be a grind no matter what. So I think our guys are smart enough to respect there's going to be not going to be a team better coached than Wauseon. And Coach Bert's going to have them well drilled. They're going to know every single thing we're going to do. So, the emotions and the poor body language that we display, I thought we were pretty good tonight, but previously that's not going to fly against a Wauseon team because they're going to make you grind and they're going to make you guard and then they're going to get up in your face. So it's going to be a challenge, but our guys are going to be ready.
All right, Coach, 9-1, more importantly, still unbeaten in the WBL. Enjoy it for 24 hours. Good luck to you tomorrow night.
Congratulations, Coach. Good job.
Thanks.
We're going to take one last time out. When we come back, we're going to put a blue and white bow on our South 66 postgame. You're watching DCTV Sports.
Simplify your everyday banking with convenient account options and digital banking features that fit your unique lifestyle. Premier Bank, everyday banking solutions designed for you. Explore solutions today at yourpremierbank.com. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com.
Back to put the finishing touches on another South 66 Lanes post-game show at the Dog Pound. Again, Defiance holds off a very gritty Van Wert squad, 49-37. They're now 9-1 overall, 4-0 in the WBL. The Cougars fall to 4-8 and 1-3. Brent Balvin alongside Coach Dales. One last piece of unfinished business before we put a wrap on things. Time for our BSN Player of the Game award. Tonight's Player of the Game will receive a DCTV Sports Player of the Game t-shirt. We know those are more valuable than a national championship, ladies and gentlemen. Courtesy of BSN Sports, the opposite apparel and official apparel. You can be both. One letter makes a huge difference. Provider of DCTV Sports. Coach, you and I talked about it in the break. I don't know how you can go with anybody other than Dre Singleton.
Yeah.
19 points off the bench and just a spark plug that this team needed tonight.
Yeah, the way that I describe him is just no fear.
Yeah.
He has no fear out there, offensively, defensively, rebound, and, he does it all. And I'm just amazed by how he attacks the basket. I mean, he doesn't care there's a 6'6", 225-pound guy there. I just see no fear in him. And the spark and the energy that he brings the team is just contagious, and you see that, and very well deserving. He had a big night tonight, and, that's why you have a bench. That's why you practice, and that's why you have a team. And he was big for the Bulldogs tonight.
So with that said, 24 hours from now, they'll be right back here on this court to take on Wauseon, but at least between now and sunrise, they'll enjoy their 9th win of the season. Coach, as always, appreciate you throwing on the headsets. We will talk to you next week. It's going to do it for our coverage here this evening. Big thank you going out to our crew, as always, doing a fantastic job. Also to our sponsors, helping make the broadcast a possibility, and you, the fan, for tuning in. I'm Brent Balbinot saying thanks for joining us. You've been watching a presentation of DCTV Sports.